He made me believe I was crazy, but turns out I was right all along. I still remember the day I met Rafael like it was yesterday. We were at a family gathering in our close-knit Latino community in San Antonio, and he was this charming, handsome man with a quick smile and piercing brown eyes. He swept me off my feet, and I thought I would found the love of my life. At first, everything seemed perfect. He was attentive, caring, and made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. We'd spend hours talking, laughing, and exploring the city together. I felt seen and heard in a way I never had before. But as time went on, I started to notice little things that would make me feel uneasy. He never wanted me to meet his coworkers, saying they were busy or not at a good time. He'd take calls in another room and speak quietly, telling me it was just work stuff. And he started keeping his car unusually clean, almost like he was trying to hide something. I brushed it off as paranoia, thinking I was just being insecure. My mother had warned me about him from day one, saying he seemed too good to be true. But I did not listen. I was too caught up in the romance of it all. I thought she was just being overprotective. When I got pregnant with our first child, Rafael was over the moon. He'd hold my hand through every doctor's appointment, and I felt like he was really there for me. But as my pregnancy progressed, he started to pull away. He'd say he was stressed with work, but I could tell there was something more. I remember finding a burner phone in his sock drawer, and my heart sank. I tried to brush it off, telling myself it was probably just a work phone or a gift from a friend. But the seed of doubt had been planted. And then I found out. I was browsing through our wedding planning website, and I saw that our wedding venue was already booked. Under another woman's name? My world came crashing down. I felt like I would been punched in the gut. I tried to stay calm, telling myself it was probably just a mistake. But as I dug deeper, I found out that he'd been having an affair with my cousin for 8 months. 8 months! While I was pregnant, carrying his child, and thinking we were building a life together. The pain was indescribable. I felt like I was going to vomit. I could not breathe. I could not think. All I could do was cry. I went to see my pastor, who counseled me through the pain. She reminded me that I was strong and capable, that I deserved better. But it was hard to see that right then. As I processed my emotions, I realized that I would been ignoring the red flags for far too long. I would been making excuses for him, telling myself that he loved me and would never hurt me. But the truth was, he'd been using my insecurities against me to deflect from his behavior. He'd created a toxic environment where I often doubted myself. I thought about all the times he'd gaslighted me, making me question my own sanity. "You're just being paranoid," he'd say. "You're overreacting." But I was not paranoid. I was not overreacting. I was right. I decided to confront him, and I chose a public place to do it. I wanted to make sure he could not silence me or manipulate me. I wanted to make sure everyone knew what he'd done. We met at a restaurant in the middle of town, and I was shaking with rage. He walked in, smiling like nothing was wrong, and I just lost it. "How could you, Rafael?" I demanded, my voice shaking. "How could you do this to me, to our child?" He tried to calm me down, telling me it was just a mistake, that it did not mean anything. But I was not having it. "A mistake?" I repeated, my voice rising. 8 months is not a mistake. That's a long-term affair with my cousin, of all people. He looked taken aback, but I could see the guilt written all over his face. "You knew I was pregnant," I continued, my anger boiling over. "You knew I was carrying your child, and you still chose to cheat on me. You still chose to lie to me." He tried to speak, but I cut him off. "Don't even try to justify it," I spat. "Don't even try to make excuses. You know what you did, and you know it is wrong." The restaurant patrons were starting to stare, but I did not care. I was beyond caring. "I want a divorce," I said, my voice firm. "I want you out of my life. And I want you to stay away from our child." He looked shocked, but I could see the fear in his eyes. He knew I was not bluffing. As I walked out of that restaurant, I felt a sense of power I would never felt before. I was taking back control of my life, and I was going to make sure he paid for what he'd done. It was not easy, but I did it. I filed for divorce, and I fought for custody of our child. I surrounded myself with people who loved and supported me, like my mother and my pastor. And slowly but surely, I started to heal. I started to see that I was worthy of love and respect, that I deserved better than someone who would cheat on me and lie to me. It's been a long journey, but I am finally free. I am finally me, and I am finally at peace. He made me believe I was crazy, but turns out I was right all along.